Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as roses, and hair as black as ebony. Snow White's beauty was unmatched, which made her stepmother, the queen, jealous. The queen, an evil and wicked woman, could not bear the thought of anyone being fairer than she. Every day, she would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And each time, the mirror would reply, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." Enraged by this response, the queen plotted to get rid of Snow White. She ordered a huntsman to take the princess into the woods, far from the kingdom, and to bring back her heart as proof of Snow White's demise. However, when the huntsman took Snow White into the forest, he couldn't bring himself to harm her. Instead, he warned her of the queen's wicked plan and urged her to run away and never return. Alone in the woods, Snow White stumbled upon a tiny cottage. Curious, she entered and discovered that it belonged to 7 dwarfs: Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. The dwarfs were initially surprised by her presence, but soon warmed up to Snow White, enchanted by her kindness and beauty. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, the queen learned from her magic mirror that Snow White was still alive. Fuming with anger, she concocted various schemes to eliminate the princess. She tried poisoned apples, enchanted mirrors, and magical disguises, all in an attempt to rid herself of Snow White. Despite the queen's relentless efforts, Snow White remained unharmed, protected by the dwarfs and her pure heart. One day, the queen disguised herself as an old peddler woman and offered Snow White a poisoned apple. Unaware of the danger, Snow White took a bite and fell into a deep, death-like sleep. Heartbroken, the dwarfs placed her in a glass coffin. As fate would have it, a prince passing through the forest saw Snow White and fell in love with her. Unable to resist her beauty, he kissed her, breaking the spell. Snow White awoke, surrounded by the dwarfs and the prince. Grateful for their friendship and love, she returned to the kingdom, where the queen's wicked deeds were exposed. In the end, the queen faced justice for her crimes, and Snow White and the prince lived happily ever after. And so, the tale of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs became a legendary story of love, friendship, and the triumph of goodness over